All right. Good morning, everyone. I think we have mostly everyone entering the room now. Thank you for joining us today for our eligible training provider public boot camp, navigating the public job training provider program. Um, this morning, you're probably wondering, what is ETPL? Some of you all may have questions on how do I join the ETPL? How do I become a provider on the eligible training provider list? I'm a new organization or I have new programming that I want to enter onto this state eligible training provider list. So first off, what is ETPL? Well, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, we call it WIOA for short. Some people call it WIOA, was signed into law back in July of 2014. It's the first legislative reform of the public workforce system in 15 years. So it was very significant for our public workforce system nationally. But an eligible training provider is a training institution that satisfies the requirements of WIOA or WIOA. And as part of the infrastructure to carry out the mandates of WIOA, states are required to maintain this list of training providers and programs that are certified to receive students to utilize WIOA funding. WIOA students are only permitted to use their individual training account, or as we go back into this alphabet soup, ITA funds and programs that appear on this statewide training eligible training provider list. So with the state, there are hand-selected educational institutions and specific classes that teach the skills to be successful in the Tennessee workforce. All the institutions and program eligibility are made on an annual basis and based on each institution's performance data. So that's just a brief summary. But we will have someone here today that's a subject matter expert that will definitely dive deeper and give more information on the eligible training provider process and what WIOA is. But currently, there is an industry movement in our region. We see a lot of new businesses coming to Greater Memphis. 95% of these new businesses are in the advanced manufacturing industry, but other industries such as construction, IT, and healthcare are in demand as well. And individuals in our region need to be upskilled quickly to keep up with the demand of the market and changing technology. It's important that we have quality training programs on our eligible training provider list with the state to ensure that our workforce is ready for all of these grand opportunities that are going to be readily available to our citizens to go into what we call quality jobs. Today, you will hear from the subject matter expert from Greater Memphis regarding the ETPL, the process, and how the funding mechanism works. Lee Graham is the eligible training provider coordinator and equal opportunity officer for Workforce Mid-South. Workforce Mid-South is our Greater Memphis local workforce development board. Lee has been employed in various roles with them since 2016. So Lee has actually been with the program even when it was called WIN, which was our Workforce Investment Network. But of course, a couple years ago, they went through a name change and became a nonprofit, which is now called Workforce Mid-South. His current role, as I mentioned, is the eligible training provider coordinator. And in that particular role, he coordinates information that is presented to the local workforce board for new organizations seeking to become training providers. And he is the equal opportunity officer. And in that particular role, he ensures that all participants have equal access to WIOA funding and that all WIOA training providers provide equal access to participants. Lee has a Bachelor of Science in Criminology and Criminal Justice formerly worked as a probation and parole officer for the state of Tennessee, and he has a master's in addiction studies. His passion and values surround helping others and mentoring young people about the dangers of addiction and the destructive role that addiction and criminal behavior can have in their lives. He also enjoys listening to audiobooks, and he is a member of audible.com. He's been a member of audible.com for 15 years. So that's a great fun fact about Lee. But Lee, he plays a very important part in our ecosystem in regards to ensuring that individuals have the funds that are needed for training, but also that we have quality training providers on the training provider list that can upskill our individuals for these great opportunities that are available. So I introduce to you all Mr. Lee Graham, who is our presenter for today. I am going to share my screen, but I will turn it over to Lee to talk about the ETPL.
Thanks, Amber. I sure appreciate that. That was a great introduction. I almost made it seem like you were talking about somebody else. But welcome, everybody. Again, as Amber explained about the ETPL, the eligible training provider list. What it is it's a list of trusted training institutions that are selected by our board to provide training to our WIOA participants. If you would look at this first slide, Amber, if you could go to the next slide. The eligible training provider list provides employment training resources for adults and dislocated workers. What that is and what some people get mixed up about what training institutions are, that's either colleges or such as Southwest Community College, institutions such as TCAT Memphis, the University of Memphis, other institutions such as Career Academy. Those institutions are basically what makes up our eligible training provider list, and they allow our participants to be able to have training by trusted institutions. All right, next slide, please. Amber, next slide, please. Oh, there you go. Also, Amber already explained a little bit about WIOA. That's our Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which was signed in law in July of 2014. Basically, these funds come from the Tennessee Department of Workforce Development, and that allows for us to be able to receive these funds here locally in the state of Tennessee and locally here in Greater Memphis. Okay, next slide, please, Amber. As far as for becoming a training provider, there are criteria that needs to be met. And the first thing you would need to do basically is to contact me, let me know that you're interested. Once I have that information and your contact information, I'll send out a sheet to you that will include the steps and the information that I need. The main thing that I'm gonna need is what organization accredits your organization, such as THEC, or other authorities such as the Board of Regents or the Middle State Learning Commission. And that would just allow us to verify that you are recognized and that you are accredited by an outside organization that allows you to work here in the state of Tennessee. Once you send all that information to me, it's going to also ask for the cost of your program. It's going to ask for your curriculum, a bio of your staff and instructors, and it's going to also ask for the cost of your program and a little bit about the students that have already went through your program. And just the main things, to let us know about your program and for us to be able to make an informed decision on if we're going to allow you on to the ETPL or not. All right. I think that's for the most part covers how to become a training provider. I'll also have a little bit of time for more questions at the end of this presentation. Next slide, please, Em. Okay. Also, right now, the maximum amount for an individual to receive for training is $7,500, and that's going to depend on where the training provider falls in our what's called our I guess I can't even remember the name of it. I'm a little nervous, but it just depends on where you're located and what type of training provider that you are will determine the amount of funds that you can receive for your program. All right. Next slide, please, Amber. When participants come into the American Job Center, they're going to meet with kind of like a career counselor, and that person is going to determine what type of training the person may need. The main thing that the American Job Center is set up for is for jobs. So the first thing they're going to do is they're going to assess the individual to ensure what type of services they need. So once they determine the type of services they need, if they need additional training in order to enter the workforce, then we can allow them to move on and to be able to qualify for what's called an individual training account. And with that individual training account, that actually allows the individual to pick from the eligible training provider list and decide which type of career path they want to go down. All right. Next slide, please, Amber. Again, this is my contact information on how you become a training provider. You just reach out to me. I'll email you back the whole list of information that I need, and I'll present that information to our workforce board. Next slide, please. And just to explain a little bit more about WEOR, WEOR is a federal employment and training program that is designed to provide our nation's public workforce system and help eligible Americans gain entry into high quality jobs and careers and help employers hire and retain skilled employers. That's a fancy way of saying we just need to make sure that our individuals that can receive WEOR funds are taken care of, and make sure that when they get done with the programs, they'll be able to enter the workforce. Next slide, please. The American Job Center. This slide tells about our American Job Center and the type of programs that we offer. We do have programs for adults, dislocated workers. That's individuals who have been laid off within the last 5 years. And then we have programs also for youth. We have in-school youth and out-of-school youth. So those programs are basically made for individuals that are ages 14 to 21 years old for our in-school youth, and for out-of-school youth, those kids are anywhere from 16 to 24 years old and not attending school or enrolled in any other programs. Each category has its own specific requirements, and that's why we ask for individuals to come into the American Job Center so that we can help them navigate through this, through all the requirements. Next slide, please. So these are our American Job Center locations, 155 Angeles Street. That's our main center. That's the biggest American Job Center that we have right now. And the other locations are our satellite locations that are out in the rural areas. Everyone in the community the American Job Center is open to everyone. If you're not sure what services you need, or if you're just interested in coming by, we have people at the front desk that'll be more than happy to assist you. And if you look at these links down below, we also have some virtual services that you can learn about the services that we have available by clicking on those links. But the best way to find out about everything is to come into the American Job Center. Next slide, please. And that's the end of our presentation. I hope I didn't go too fast, but any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them. If I can't answer them, I can get the answer from the state, and I can send that information to Amber, who will be able to get that information out to you all.
Hey, thank you, Lee. So if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and drop your question in the chat. That way we can have a Q&A session right now for any questions that you all may have. But Lee, while we're waiting on individuals to drop their questions in the chat, we've already had a couple questions come in even before the webinar on today.
Okay.
One of those questions is, with the eligible training provider list and the funding, is there funding available for youth?
For you?
Yes.
Yes. That's for in-school youth, our training provider. Well, our training provider is communities and schools. I'll send that information out to you and the contact person for that program. Our out-of-school youth is at the American Job Center. Our provider is Equus, and they just have to meet the qualifications. We could go down that list, but the qualifications are different for each group that they may fall into. Just a little bit. The in-school youth have to be anywhere between 14 to 21 years of age. They have to be attending or enrolled in secondary or post-secondary school. They have to be low income, and then they have to also meet, one of the followings, which is deficient in literature, homeless or runaway in foster care, pregnant or parenting, be an offender, have a disability, or English is a second language. But we do have other programs for people who don't fall into any of those categories. So that's why we would like for people to come into the American Job Center, just so we can assess them and make sure that we put them in in the proper category.
Thank you, Lee. And I think that question came in because there's a lot of talk around youth currently and how we can support the youth population here in the greater Memphis area. We do have a question in the chat.
Okay.
This question comes from one of our attendees. It says, who are the certifying agencies you acknowledge?
Okay, so the certifying agencies are at the American Job Center is Equus, and the certifying agency for in-school youth is Communities in Schools, which is known as CIS.
Thank you. We do have a few other questions. One of those questions goes back to when you mentioned the 7,500 max for the voucher. Does a student receive the 7,500 voucher automatically? How does that work?
It works it depends on what program the person goes into. We have what's called stackable credentials. That's what I was trying to think of earlier during the presentation. But with the stackable credentials, for example, someone could start off as a CNA. They could come back and get another ITA to go to LPN school, and they can come back and get another one to go into registered nursing. and that could end up all adding up to the $7,500.
Thank
Or
you.
if a program, depending on the student and depending on where they are in their education, say someone over at the University of Memphis could be in their last year of training, and we would give them, if they qualify, we could potentially give them the $7,500 for their last year of training.
Thank you. And it's great to hear how you all are utilizing that funding to stack credentials. It's
Yes,
very important right now for the upskilling process to ensure individuals have a career pathway forward.
yes, man.
So here's another question from the chat.
Okay.
Is food processing and or agricultural occupations a certifiable occupation you look at?
Yes, yes. Under agriculture, that would most likely be there. But once again, you would need to send me the information so that I can verify it. Especially through THEC, and to ensure that the program will end up assuring that the individual will be able to be employed at the end of the training. I hope that I answered that correctly.
Thank you, Lee. Another question. So if an entity was to apply today and start the process, how long does the process normally take?
It could take anywhere from 60 to 90 days to actually be approved. But it just really depends on how fast they get their information from THEC to verify their credentialing. So it's a little bit different for each institution, but I'll say anywhere from 60 to 90 days.
Okay, 60 to 90 days. All right. And then a follow-up question to that is, me as a training provider, how can I ensure I'm prepared to tackle the process to ensure that it's streamlined and can flow smoothly to be done in a timely manner?
Once basically submit everything to me all together in one package. Once I get that, I'll present it to the board. And then basically just follow our instructions after that. Especially once you get approved, we'll refer you over to our American Job Center to actually get an ITA agreement. So just follow our instructions, and everything should go smoothly for you.
Thank you. And another question from an existing provider. It says, what if I'm an existing provider and need to add new programming to the list? How does that process work?
What you would do is same thing. Send me your proof that your program has been approved by THEC, or whatever organization has approved your new program. Send that to me by email, and then go on to Jobs for TN and add that program into Jobs for TN. Once I get the proof that the program has been approved, I'll go in and approve the program. If it's something that needs to be board approved, basically depending on how if the program is like, say if you are a CNA program and you are adding on an LPN program, something like that would probably need to go in front of the board for approval. So I would need to present that to the board. If you were a program that, say, such as a IT institution, and you were just adding in like such a program like a Microsoft program or Microsoft certification, something like that, I could approve myself, and I will be able to approve that. So it just depends on the program that you're asking to be added on, which process the program has to go through.
Thank you. And a follow-up to that question, what if I'm a provider that has a cost change to my program? Is the process the same?
If it's less than 25%, the process is the same. If it's more than 25% of your original cost, then that has to be approved by the board. And once again, you will need to email me a cost breakdown so that I can present that to the board. If it's less than 25%, then you can go into the system and put that information in, and it will notify me to go in and approve it.
Thank you. Great information. Here's another question from a training provider. If I'm approved for the list, how do I ensure that my program remains on the list? Do I have to reapply every year? Are there reports that I have to submit?
The monthly report form is going to be sent to you. So you will send that back to us each month, letting us know how your program is performing. But each year, the system, the Jobs for TN system, will notify you that your program is up for review, meaning that the system wants you to log in and review everything inside of your profile to make sure everything is the same. So you should whichever user sets up the information for your program will get that email, and all you have to do is just follow the instructions from that. The state of Tennessee does an annual review, so they'll be contacting each program for information about that. But as long as you do everything you're supposed to do, chances are you'll be reviewed positively, and you'll be approved to continue on.
Thank you. And an additional question from the chat: are you available to walk me through the process?
Yes, my number and my contact information is in there. If you have some issues or problem with Jobs for TN, we'll set up a time where we could be online together, and I'll be able to walk you through the process. The rest of it, as far as for the email that I send you, if you got any questions about that, we can walk through the list, and and I'll kind of like try to break everything down for you to make you understand the process.
Thank you. And this is a very interesting topic. There's a lot of questions. Going back to the actual individual, what is the process for a person to receive a voucher?
Basically, once again, it depends on their circumstances. Everyone is different. So they have to come into the American Job Center, and they have to meet with a career specialist. I forgot what they call them now, but they have to meet with the career specialist. The career specialist will determine if they can qualify for a program. Remember, the main thing about the American Job Center first is to see if the person can be employed. And then from there, if they cannot be employed right now, the secondary comes retraining them so that they can go out into the workforce.
Thank you. And a follow-up question to that is, through the American Job Center, if someone was to receive a voucher, is there an additional wraparound support for that individual to ensure that they can complete training?
There are support services. And once again, that's going to come from the career advisor to let them know what type of additional support services, such as childcare, transportation, and additional things like that. But they can speak on that a little bit better than I can.
Okay, thank you. And definitely, if anyone needs that information, we'll be able to share the contact information for the American Job Center. Another question, there was an item that you mentioned in your presentation about entities having to sign an ITA agreement. What exactly is an ITA agreement?
That's an agreement between the training provider and the American Job Center, which is managed by Equus. That's the agreement that they sign, that they will accept vouchers as a payment, and that I guess the payment structure and how they actually receive their funds. Some institutions are approved to receive their funds at the beginning of the training cycle. Some are, approved to receive their funds during the middle of the training cycle, and some institutions have to wait until the individual is trained, before they actually receive their funds. And the ITA agreement is the agreement that you sign saying that you agree to these things.
Thank you. Thank you. And there's a couple more questions. One of those questions being, do apprenticeship programs? There's a lot of conversation around apprenticeships currently, nationally, but also here locally. Do apprenticeship programs have to apply to be a part of the eligible training provider list?
Yes, yes. Basically, if they're already an approved apprenticeship program, they need to contact me to let me know that they do want to go on to the eligible training provider list. And that just puts them on the list. That does not make them, that does not immediately qualify them for WIOA funding. I would still need to present their program to the board. And depending on what type of program they are, they may still need to go through THEC for additional proof of certifications. It just depends on the program. So, but yes, they still need to contact us because they don't immediately go on to the ETPL without contacting me. But they do automatically get approved for going on to the ETPL.
Thank you. And I don't see any additional questions in the chat, but there is a final question before we wrap up on today.
Okay.
Resources. This was a lot of information, great information about the ETPL and the process flow. But are there any resources you can share about the eligible training provider list as far as a process flow or a PowerPoint?
Well, we can send this PowerPoint out. So to everyone that was in attendance, so that's not a problem. Also, contact me, and I'll actually send you the list of information that's needed to be emailed to me. Other than that, just contacting us with your questions is the best resources that they are. Also, the state of Tennessee has a ETPL department, but they prefer for you all to go through us locally. So whatever questions you have, I'll do my best to answer them. If I can't, I'll get the answer for you from the state.
Thank you. And I was wrong. One final question.
Okay.
For the ETPL, do you have to be in an in-demand industry currently to be approved for the list?
That is difficult to say. But your service has to be in demand. We have to know that the individuals are going to be able to be employed when they finish your program. And so we can go to the state list, and there's a website that we use to verify that an occupation is in demand and that an occupation has growth, and that's what we like to see.
Thank you, Lee, for that. So we have reached the end of the presentation. I don't see any additional questions in the chat, but Lee's information is posted here in the webinar chat. So if you want to reach out to Lee with additional questions, just as a follow-up from today, or if you want to get started with the process, definitely reach out to him by email or telephone, and he'll be happy to assist or at least connect you to the appropriate individuals as well if you have additional questions about the American Job Center and some of the other services. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Lee, for presenting this great topic on this morning. We look forward to partnering with Workforce Mid-South on additional efforts in the future.